The question of what happens after death has been one of the most profound and lasting concerns in human history. From ancient civilizations to modern societies, people have tried to understand what lies beyond the end of life. This question is not only scientific, but also philosophical, emotional, and spiritual. It touches on fear, hope, meaning, and the unknown. While some people believe that death is the final end, others are convinced that it is only a transition to another form of existence. Although there is no single answer that satisfies everyone, examining different perspectives allows a deeper understanding of why this question remains so powerful.
At the outset, the scientific view of death focuses on the physical processes of the human body. According to biology, death occurs when vital systems stop working. The heart no longer pumps blood, the brain stops sending signals, and the body loses its ability to maintain life. After this point, cells begin to break down, and the body gradually returns to the natural environment. From this perspective, death is a natural and unavoidable part of life. Science does not provide evidence for any form of consciousness after death. Instead, it explains what can be observed and measured. For many people, this explanation is clear and logical, but it does not fully answer emotional or existential questions.
Despite the scientific explanation, many cultures and religions offer different interpretations of what happens after death. In numerous belief systems, death is not seen as an end, but rather as a transition. One of the most common ideas is the existence of an afterlife. According to this belief, a person's soul continues to exist after the body dies. This afterlife may take many forms. In some traditions, it is described as a peaceful and joyful place, while in others, it may include judgment or consequences based on a person's actions during life. These beliefs often guide moral behavior, as people try to live in a way that leads to a positive outcome after death.
Another widely known concept is reincarnation. This idea suggests that after death, the soul is reborn into a new body. The cycle of birth, death, and rebirth may continue many times. According to this view, each life offers an opportunity to learn and grow. Some traditions believe that actions in one life affect the conditions of the next. This creates a strong connection between behavior and future outcomes. For those who accept this belief, death becomes less frightening, as it is seen as a step in a longer journey rather than a final ending.
In addition to religious beliefs, philosophy offers different ways of thinking about death. Some philosophers argue that death should not be feared because it is a natural part of existence. They suggest that worrying too much about what happens after death may prevent people from fully enjoying life. According to this view, the focus should be on living well rather than on what comes afterward. Other thinkers, however, believe that the possibility of life after death gives life greater meaning. These different approaches show that the question of death is closely connected to how people understand life itself.
Psychological factors also play an important role in shaping beliefs about death. Humans are aware that their lives are limited, and this awareness can create fear and uncertainty. In order to cope with these feelings, people often develop beliefs that provide comfort. The idea of an afterlife, for example, can reduce fear by offering hope that existence continues. Even those who do not follow a specific religion may still hold personal beliefs about what happens after death. These beliefs can be influenced by family, culture, and personal experience.
Another interesting aspect of this question is the study of near-death experiences. Some people who have come close to dying report unusual sensations. They may describe seeing a bright light, feeling a sense of peace, or observing their surroundings from outside their bodies. These experiences are often described as very real and powerful. While some interpret them as evidence of life after death, scientists suggest that they may be caused by changes in brain activity during extreme situations. For example, a lack of oxygen or unusual chemical reactions in the brain may create these sensations. Although these experiences are not fully understood, they continue to raise important questions.
Cultural traditions also influence how people understand death. In some cultures, death is treated with deep sadness and mourning. In others, it is seen as a natural transition that should be accepted calmly. Rituals such as funerals, memorial ceremonies, and anniversaries help people cope with loss. These practices allow communities to come together and support one another. They also provide a way to honor those who have passed away. Through these traditions, death becomes not only a personal experience, but also a social one.
It is also important to consider the idea of legacy. Even if there is no clear evidence of life after death, people continue to exist in the memories of others. The impact of a person's actions, words, and relationships can last for many years. For example, a teacher may influence students long after leaving the classroom, or a parent may shape the lives of children and future generations. In this way, a part of a person continues to live on through influence rather than physical presence. This idea can offer comfort and meaning.
Modern technology has also changed how people think about death. Advances in medicine have made it possible to extend life and treat serious illnesses. However, these developments have also raised new questions. For example, when machines are used to support life, it can be difficult to determine when death actually occurs. This creates ethical and medical challenges. At the same time, technology has made it easier to record and preserve memories, such as photographs, videos, and written messages. These records allow people to remember and connect with those who have passed away.
Another perspective comes from observing nature. In the natural world, death is part of a larger cycle. When living organisms die, they return nutrients to the soil, which supports new life. Plants grow, animals feed, and ecosystems continue to develop. This cycle shows that death is not separate from life, but closely connected to it. Understanding this relationship can help people see death in a less negative way. It becomes a necessary part of balance rather than a complete ending.
Furthermore, literature and art have long explored the idea of life after death. Writers, poets, and artists often use this theme to express emotions and ideas that are difficult to explain in simple terms. Through stories, they imagine different possibilities and encourage reflection. These creative works do not provide definite answers, but they allow people to think deeply about the meaning of life and death. In this way, art becomes a tool for exploration and understanding.
It is also worth noting that beliefs about death can change over time. As people grow older and gain experience, their views may develop. A person who once feared death may later accept it as a natural part of life. Others may move from one belief system to another as they learn new information or face personal challenges. This shows that understanding death is not fixed, but evolves with time and experience.
In addition, thinking about death often leads to a greater appreciation of life. When people realize that time is limited, they may choose to focus on what truly matters. They may try to build stronger relationships, follow their passions, and make meaningful contributions to society. This awareness can lead to positive changes in behavior and attitude. In this way, the question of death can have a strong influence on how life is lived.
Another important point is the role of uncertainty. The fact that there is no clear answer to what happens after death can be both challenging and meaningful. On one hand, uncertainty can create fear. On the other hand, it allows room for different beliefs and ideas. This diversity of thought encourages discussion and reflection. It also shows that people can approach the same question from many different perspectives.
Looking at the issue more broadly, it becomes clear that the question of what happens after death is closely connected to the search for meaning. Humans naturally want to understand their place in the world and the purpose of their existence. Beliefs about death often reflect these deeper concerns. Whether through religion, philosophy, or personal reflection, people continue to seek answers that provide comfort and direction.
In conclusion, the question of what happens after death remains one of the most complex and meaningful issues in human thought. Scientific explanations describe the end of physical life, while religious and philosophical views offer ideas about continued existence or deeper purpose. Psychological and cultural factors also shape how people understand this issue. Although there is no single answer that can be proven, exploring different perspectives helps people reflect on life, values, and meaning. Rather than focusing only on what may come after, it may be more valuable to consider how life is lived in the present. Through this approach, the question of death becomes not only about an ending, but also about understanding and appreciating life itself.